Your 30,000, 40,000 students of the global economy, global administrative system. Our investment, it should be education for all. One of the beautiful parts of our country, we have an academic system. We give opportunity to students to think. The name itself, applied sciences. In the last these 35 years, I must have taught online and remote learning also. Way back in 1960s, our founder, Dr. M.S. Ramaiah,
Namaskar, hello and welcome to this exclusive and special episode of IndiGlobal EduTalks. IndiGlobal EduTalks brings to you inspiring stories of inspiring individuals in the space of education and skill with deep insights on education, skill, innovation and best practices. IndiGlobal EduTalks is brought to you by IndiGlobal Media Network that takes innovation, collaboration and growth to the forefront. And today we are connecting with you from the Silicon Valley of India, Bengaluru, from the state of Karnataka. And we are joined by a special guest who is well-known name in the field of education in the national level. At the same time, be knowing more about his contribution in the field of education. We are joined by the Vice Chancellor of MS Ramaiah University and group of institution, Dr. Kuldeep Kumar Raina. Please join me in welcoming Dr. K.K. Raina, Vice Chancellor, MS Ramaiah University. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
Sir, thank you very much. A great pleasure to be as the Vice Chancellor of MS Ramaiah University of Applied Sciences. I am very happy, very glad, very excited that IndiGlobal and Ramaiah University are coming on a platform to share our ideas about education, which is true core of heart of every Indian at the global platform too.
Thank you so much, sir. Before we get into the technicalities of education and skill, we would like to know, over decades of rich experience you have served in several parts of the country. We would like to know where were you born, brought up, and what has been your educational background?
I am born in one of the beautiful parts of our country, and that is Srinagar, Jammu Kashmir, many years back. And coming from the precincts of that beautiful valley, got educated at different places. My basic education, primary education, started from Kashmir itself, but had a passion to learn more and more. I knew that basic education also has to be supported by education of different sorts at different places. Then came sometimes to different parts of the country, and thereafter got an opportunity to work in England in the University of Manchester, which is one of the premier institutions at the global platform. Did some research work from that place, came back to the country to serve my own nation, and that is the education. I did physics primarily and shifted to the materials because I thought materials have a great scope and a cross-disciplinary approach of understanding and learning. The electronic properties of materials attracted my attention at times and worked on those areas. Served the state of Punjab for about 3 decades and as teacher, as mentor in various administrative roles as well. Thereafter, my destiny took me to the Himalayas in Uttarakhand, another beautiful part of our country. Served in Dehradun for about 7 years as Vice Chancellor of one of the premier institutions in our country. And as destiny took me to Bangalore, so in April 2022, I joined MS Ramaiah University of Applied Sciences as Vice Chancellor. So that is my education and my journey of sharing my experience with some of the premier institutions of our country. Wherever I worked till date, they have made a mark on the landscape of higher education, created always the best of the talent pool, and thereafter coming to Bangalore, it is the intellectual bhumi of our nation. People call it as a Silicon Valley, Startup Valley. It is also the IT Valley. I thought, let me try how I can contribute to this beautiful ecosystem where technology, serving the people, listening to the students and helping them, motivating them is going to play a role. So that is
amazing, sir. That's a wonderful journey. I should say, touching upon various parts you got the opportunity also to live in various places of
Beautiful
our
places,
country.
beautiful places, undoubtedly.
Sir, now you are heading MS Ramaiah, this University of Applied Sciences, which is multidisciplinary. We would like to hear from you, what is the vision and the mission that MS Ramaiah runs with?
MS Ramaiah University is an offshoot of MS Ramaiah group of institutions. Way back in 1960s, our founder, Dr. MS Ramaiah, thought of giving people something new, something creative in which they can reach to the expectations of the global community. Engineering college was set up that time. This year is special because that is also the 60th year of the engineering college. Thereafter, institutions started growing. The vision of the university is to be among us the premier league of institutions who impart higher education. Therefore, in the landscape of higher education, HEIs, higher education institutions, Ramaiah University of Applied Sciences and the Ramaiah group of institutions are playing very significant role. One of the unique point that our campus has, you name a discipline, you will see the specializations here. You have medical, you have dental, you have nursing, you have allied health sciences, engineering and technology, social sciences, law, you have sciences, you have design. I would say pharmacy, dentistry, I would say it is there. So in the context of the real learning, I would put MS Ramaiah, University of Applied Sciences, a wonderful laboratory wherein we can network with the people, the best of the minds, and those who are curious to know something more, who are curious to learn something more. I would say it's a destination for all those people who want to create something new, innovate, and also incubate that. So our laboratory is really wonderful that way.
Amazing, sir. You calling it a laboratory itself, it says the kind of thought process that goes into the actual experiential learning. Talking about that experiential learning, we would like to know, in this fast evolving ecosystem, MS Ramaiah group of institution and university is up to date. We would like to know what are the best practices and the kind of ecosystem that is created in MS Ramaiah group of institutions to give that hands-on training or a hands-on skill to the students so that they face the world when they are out of this campus.
Mr. Sudheer, you know very well that in the last few years, about a decade or so, there is plenty of information available. Whether you talk at Google, whether you talk of Wikipedia, the e-books, a lot of literature is available. But choose the best from that and make students to get experiential learning can happen if your thought process is supported by certain experimental learning as well. So for that purpose, I would say, at Ramaiah University of Applied Sciences, we have state-of-the-art laboratories. We give opportunity to students to think, discuss and deliberate with the teachers, the mentors, and make use of that thought process in the laboratory. So to develop a synergy between what is being taught and what you perceive in experimentation is one of the best things that Ramaiah University of Applied Sciences is known for, and we are enriching it from time to time. Our investment in developing the infrastructure, the best practices in this ecosystem are exemplary. So our vision to produce beautiful minds with outstanding capabilities so that they do not serve only our mother country, India, but also the global community. They will make India proud. They will make their alma mater proud. It can happen if the thought process is supported by this learning. And for that, Ramaiah University is very apt destination, and we are still going ahead. We have seen that the last 2 years have been very challenging, not only for people, but for the academic fraternity too. In this context, we had all concerns for the students, young minds, great aspirations, objectives to achieve the best. In that context, we try to put an ecosystem in place through learning management system, developing the ERP processes so that our student, wherever he is, because we attract students from all over the country, he should not be feeling that because of COVID, I am not learning. We reached them. I think that also gave us an emphasis that even when a student is home, how can we reach him try to clear his doubts or her doubts and come to the expectations of a commitment that you will complete your degree on time without compromising the academic values, the credentials that you would like to have. For that, I think we did our best. In the last convocation, we awarded around 1,500 degrees. That is testimony of the fact, our commitment for the students. So we are here for them, want to give them the rightest path to grow.
Amazing, sir. Wonderful. I also see there is a kind of embracing technology adaptation is very good in MS Ramaiah. Before I plunge into the technology question, I would like to know from you, as it is the teaching faculty, the teachers are the pillars of these educational institutions. In this fast evolving ecosystem, the skill staying updated is one of the very important factor. We would like to know what are the best practices towards the teaching staff or faculty or the officers skill development so that they stay in sync with the modern evolving ecosystem.
Wonderful, very good question. In fact, when we look at our group of institutions, we have an academic system where teachers and students learn from each other. The name itself, applied sciences, is how the science that's being discussed and deliberated upon is finally applied into the product development and the design. We have a techno center also on the campus. So the learning that goes through the classroom teaching in the laboratories is also giving an impetus on the techno center. In techno center, we get projects from various corporates and the governments as well. So the student gets that learning there. We have a technology business incubator wherein new thought process is put into place. We can innovate. Our students can also become the startup owners. In that, the teacher plays a very, very important role. At Ramaiah University of Applied Sciences, we are giving best skills to the teachers, not only in-house. We encourage them to participate in various refresher courses, in various faculty development programs, in this country as well as overseas too, because knowledge knows no boundaries. We want our faculty to be equipped with a knowledge system which they can translate into the students. So this is going to be a kind of a generational change happening for the betterment. For that, we do all what is desired, what is possible, and we have been doing it over the years. So I would say we have best of the teachers, second to none. We also invest on them, supporting their initiatives to improve their qualification. Like a student is very, very important to us. Our teacher is also very, very important to us. When both of them are in the learning platform, I think that makes a difference, and that's what I say MS Ramaiah University is.
Elaborate. Amazing, sir. In this age, sir, as you already mentioned, MS Ramaiah University of Applied Sciences and group of institutions is on the forefront towards adopting the technology. We would like to know how well it is embracing the technology and where does it stand now?
See, the beauty part is with this cross-disciplinary approach, health sciences, today cannot be only the diagnosis without having the experimental tools for that. So there are various projects which we carry out between engineering and technology and allied health sciences. Even for dental sciences, we are evolving newer processes and procedures, technology ecosystem with the use for the general population, general public is also being thought of. Many of our faculty members in the Faculty of Dental Sciences have carried out the research work in new materials that can be used for beautification, for toothaches and other things, developing certain new materials for that with the help of technology as well as the chemistry part of it. So this cross-disciplinary approach is one important thing. Where are the technologies required now? It is in the teaching learning process. So for that, we are setting up the Center for Online and Remote Learning also. Because if there is an information available now in other parts of the country or at other places, how can my students get benefited? We have developed an ecosystem in which e-classrooms are put in place. Student has access to go to that facility, identify themselves. Government of India with NPTEL and MOOC courses are also supporting some newer programs for the learning. For that, our library, our laboratories are open for them to learn. So we are apt place where technology is being evolved, technology is being used for the betterment of an ecosystem which is teaching, learning, innovate and create. Our faculty members at the same time, we tell them you cannot be only the source of knowledge dissemination, you have to also create knowledge. For that, many of our faculty members are doing really interesting research projects. And these projects are sponsored by the Government of India, Ministry of Defence and other bodies, and some corporates too. There is a monitoring mechanism for them. We have Research and Innovation Council of the university where we assess the progresses. So I would say that we do what is desired for bringing our university at par with best in the world. And I'm sure with that mission, we are succeeding day by day. Yes, education is a long process of learning, and lifelong learning is the mantra, which is true for me and everyone who works in the university.
Absolutely, sir. Would you like to tell us the MS Ramaiah University Group of Institutions, the current strength of the teaching faculty, the administration, and also the student strength?
We have several institutions as a part of the Ramaiah Group of Institutions. As a part of MS Ramaiah University of Applied Sciences, as on date, we have around 6,000 students. These students are undergoing training and learning at undergraduate, postgraduate and PhD levels. We have a faculty strength of around 400 people today. And when it comes to the whole group of institutions, I understand there must be around 20,000 students in the whole Ramaiah Group of Institutions, and proportionately not less than 2,500 faculty members across the distribution. And each one is capable. There is a good synergy of discussion and deliberations as intra-departmental activities that are happening. So that is what our structure is.
You as an education leader who has headed several universities and did his best to take it to the next level. In the coming years, what is your vision, and where would people like us would see MS Ramaiah Group of Institution University going ahead? What are the milestones that's been set?
See, sometimes people compare institutions where we are in the global platform. When it comes to Karnataka state, when it comes to the education ecosystem in the country, I think we are second to none, I tell you honestly. But when it comes to have the close collaboration and affiliations with best in the world, there is a lot which can happen due to the partnerships. I am very happy to share with you, Mr. Sudheer, that university has already taken steps in partnering with the best. In Europe, in the US, we have had strong relationship with some of the Russian laboratories, which is still continuing as a process everywhere. Because now we have to now share this knowledge and get best from them, and they will also get best. There is a matching which has to happen where I have to increase the capabilities of our own people so that we meet the capabilities of the best in the world, top 10, top 20, so on and so forth. So that is the priority for each one of us. This can happen through various contemporarization of our processes where there is going to be an equivalence. And very happy to share with you that in the recent past, University Grants Commission is also taking steps in making this collaboration very, very accountable, very, very effective. Our target, Ramaiah University of Applied Sciences, is how we can partner with the best and how best is ours. In best and best, we are going to get extraordinary, excellent things. So that is my priority, that is where our objectives are. This year is also very special for us because we are also celebrating the centenary year of Dr. MS Ramaiah, the founder. So I think it is going to be a great tribute to his vision that yes, MS Ramaiah Group, what they thought, we are meeting his aspirations.
Amazing, sir. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
For the 100 years of MS Ramaiah. We would like to know from you being in countries as well, just a curious question. Where does India stand as a global education hub?
I think we are better positioned. Why we are not counted is because education needs some investment. This government over the years have put many efforts in it. The conceptualization of the new education policy and now making it a process for the institution is a step forward. In that direction, it gives many flexibilities. And I'm confident in very soon, once all the states, all the institutions start adopting the new education policy, there is going to be a paradigm shift. And this shift is going to be for betterment. Students' learning systems will enhance. It is not only that this language is the best. I think it is prioritizing that all languages are the best. I think if it is the mantra of making us be different, I'm sure the future generations are going to make our education ecosystem very proud of us. What we could not do for many, many years, I see it happening now onwards. So for that, Mr. Sudheer, I would say we are timely placed and we are there.
True, sir. As you said, as you mentioned, it's NEP 2020 is considered by experts, leaders, policymakers as groundbreaking. Some say it is as good as it is implemented. In terms of MS Ramaiah, University of Applied Sciences, a group of institutions, how is it implementing NEP 2020 and what are the plans?
We have already taken initiatives following the guidelines from the government of Karnataka that we are the first state in the country to take it forward. And how can Ramaiah be lagging in its implementation? We have constituted various task forces and the working group in the university, headed by our deans and very, very senior people. We have also co-opted some experts who are truly educationists, who know what education is, who care for the education. We have very frequent meetings for them. In 2 programs, social sciences and life sciences, we implemented it from 2021. In professional programs, we were looking at reviewing the process and the procedures. 2022 admissions will also see us going ahead with the new education policy. Ramaiah University of Applied Sciences follows all the processes and the directives which are given to us by either the government of Karnataka or the government of India. So we are there. We don't want to lag in achieving what the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister is towards implementing the new education policy. We are very well placed. We are doing. And the cross-disciplinary approach which comes from the new education policy, as I say, this is the best laboratory. The Prayogshala of our university is the best place to see. We are now creating these cross-disciplinary courses. A student, when he or she gets admitted, will choose herself where she has passion, where he has passion. Since we have faculties, since we have infrastructure, since we have our commitment to fulfill the aspirations of our dear students, I think we are there. We are second to none.
Absolutely, sir. What is your definition of innovation?
Well, innovation, I would say, has become such a buzzword. Each one has its own definition. At Ramaiah University of Applied Sciences, as I said, we have the Research and Innovation Council. It is the student first, his thought process, how we can encourage him to think in a different way. In that innovative approach, we give them various thought process to think about, set the challenges through hackathon. They work, they ideate, and these ideas are put to us. Institution Innovation Council, which is set by the All India Council of Technical Education. We're a part of that. So in that innovation, not always new, it is doing something in a different way, which help the society. Our priority in education is for only few. It should be education for all. In education for all, if my students in the rural India, in urban India, get similar kind of education, I think these barriers, this differentiation disappears. I think if we can do that, I would say, yes, we have succeeded in our innovation, that education reached the last man at the border, the last man who may be, in fact, the first learner in the family. Can we do it? That's one. Second is, technology is evolving day by day, and there is no end to it. In this technology innovation, our Techno Center and Technology Business Incubator plays a very important role. Very happy to share with you that our own students are now setting up the startups. We encourage them, we spend extra effort and time with them so that an ecosystem is developed in the city, which is a startup city of Bangalore, that they are there. And I'm sure that once you get a chance, I will take you to those startups and incubations. Rather than I saying, you will speak to all those students who are making us proud. So we are there.
Amazing, sir. Wonderful. I would like to ask some personal questions. You as an educator and who has headed several institutions, several thousands of students who grew up under you and under your mentorship, we would like to know what is that one thing that gives you the deep sense of satisfaction and that kick keeps you going as an educator and a leader in the field of education?
In the last about 35 years, I have been a part of education ecosystem in teaching. Before that, my interest was towards research and scientific innovations and thinking in a that way. I embedded in my profession the teaching skills and the research concepts together. So whenever I got an opportunity to teach students, I created a blended system. It was like today we talk of education 4.0. gives student an opportunity to ask, and you can say that whether it is good, how it is to be. So I have been using it for many, many years. In the last these 35 years, I must have taught at least around 30,000 students, at least. Most of them are at very good places. They are serving the society in various capacities as bureaucrats, administrators, in defense, as teachers, as mentors. So if you have created an ecosystem in your lifetime who are serving the society, what best satisfaction you can have. Sometimes I feel, honestly, Sudhir, that what for I was born, perhaps, I try to nurture it in my students, and they are also serving the society. And what is the mantra of each one of us when we are born is, can we make a difference felt? If as a teacher, your 30,000, 40,000 students are contributing to the growth of the global economy, global administrative system, creating the next generation of the innovators, that is best. So that is the most satisfying part, as I see. To us in the teaching fraternity, we say it is a lifelong learning for us. Till we work, till God has blessed us, the last breath, if we can help the society, I think I would say I did what for I was born.
Amazing, sir. Wonderful. We are glad to know. We need more and more leaders in the field of education like you, so that it contributes to the growth, economic development, not just India, but the whole world and humankind. So with that, we come to the end of our special and exclusive episode of IndiGlobal EduTalks. The guest today, Dr. Kuldeep Kumar Raina, who is a Vice Chancellor for MS Ramaiah University for Applied Sciences and Group of Institution, believes in calling the institution Prayogshala. Till the time, we join you with yet another inspiring leader with their inspiring story. This is Sudheer Goutham of IndiGlobal Network signing off. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, IndiGlobal. Thank you.